Hello everybody, Carlos here, your friendly neighborhood laser technician and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to my first ever video. That was just a quick shout out to you, Reggie. Love your intro, so I kind of just wanted to throw that out there for you. But my name is Carlos. Some of you might know me as Los on some of the chats, and I wanted to officially make my first video as part of Regie Simmons' 1,000 sub contest. I have not done a video for any other contests or anything like that. Not because I don't think the contests are great. I think everybody's contest has been awesome. But when you're married with 2 children and work a full-time job, it's kind of hard to make videos. But I just felt like this one resonated with me a little more, and I think it did for a lot of people. It's a simple question, but it's one that I think we all can relate to, and it's why we collect comics. And so first off, this is my entry for Regie Simmons contest, and it is not to say that I'm starting my own channel or to gain subscriptions, nothing like that. I'm just doing it because I think this is an awesome contest and the question is amazing, and you know, I feel like I think that's why a lot of people are kind of joining this contest. So if you don't know who Reggie is, you should go and check out his channel. If you don't know it, I will add the link in the description as soon as I figure out how to do that. So I will do that, and there's also a few other people that I would like to mention in this video, since I started watching YouTube videos in this comic book community. There's been a lot of great people, so I don't want to, I'm probably going to leave out a bunch of people, but just there's so many. But a lot off the top of my head, you know, obviously Reggie, Thanatos, Matt, Comics with Bueller, White Whale Comics, Chris from We Love Comics, you know, John's Comics with Kids, Tony Sanders, you know, all these guys are great, and you know, Miss Hustle, great ambassador for the online community. You know, everybody's just great. Anybody that you reach out to, they always, you know, contact you back with any kind of questions you have, concerns, or not just concerns, but just general questions. But everybody's, you know, so willing and so happy, and there's so much knowledge out there to be spread around, and so much great content, which is awesome. So you know, I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. You know, Comic Tom as well. Sorry about that. Another great guy. You know, like I said, so much great content out there. But I guess enough rambling. On with the contest. So if you kind of notice behind me this giant mess, that is because I just moved into a new house, or we moved into a new house. Sorry. And we're kind of, you know, cleaning up. So this is the office comic room, so we're kind of sorting things out, so it's gonna look like this for a while, but it will look a lot better. So again, like I said, sorry about that. On with the contest. So the reason why I collect, one, I guess the main thing is I just love comics in general. Anything, just flat out anything geek related, if you want to call it that, just anything. I love, you know, comics. I love, you know, statues, figurines, you know, pop toys, whatever. But you know, growing up, I've always been into the storytelling of comics, and you know, I remember my first comic that I've ever received was from my uncle. It was a Wolverine miniseries #1, the Frank Miller cover. So this guy right here, if you can see that, hopefully there's no glare right there. And it's a book that everybody, you know, in this comic book industry knows this cover of this book. The minute you see it, you know exactly what it is. And you know, he had such a great collection, and he was grateful enough to give me one, an extra copy that he had, and read the story. Loved, you know, the artwork and the storytelling, and just wanted to continue to see where it took me. And that's where it led me to just collecting. And it was just amazing, the stories that were told. And I remember, you know, as I started getting older, collecting with my little, you know, core group of friends, you know, growing up in Brooklyn, just, you know, we didn't really have a comic book store there, so, you know, we had to, you know, kind of, you know, go to the next borough, which was in Queens. And you know, it was like a 6 to 8 mile walk, or we could take the subway, but subway cost $1. We're like, hey, you know what, we can walk and save that money and buy another comic book. So that's what we did. Loved taking those walks. All we did was talk about, you know, the next book that we were going to get, which artists we were looking forward to getting. You know, at the time, you know, it was Jim Lee, X-Men run. There was you know, Todd McFarlane Spider-Man run, Rob Liefeld X-Force run, and you know, those are the books that we grew up on. And you know, I just remember those were good times. You know, I can still remember that for that nostalgic aspect of collecting. And then I remember, you know, we used to play poker, and the currency was comic books. We would, you know, bring all our comics, or not all of them, but bring some good comics, and mostly trash ones that you didn't care about losing. And you know, we would, you know, play poker with those, and it was awesome. And I remember those times, and they were awesome times. And as I got older, my collection grew a little bit, got bigger. But then I moved, I got a new job. As I got older, finished school, got a job, and the job took me out of New York and into Massachusetts. And my collection didn't come with me. And that was hard, but as I was getting a little older at the time, and I was a little younger, or you know, it didn't affect me as much, because my collection wasn't the biggest or wasn't the greatest or anything like that. No major keys or anything. But as I got older and I moved here to Massachusetts, better job, more money, I was able to kind of get back into comics, started building a pretty decent collection with some, you know, minor keys. And it was tough because I lived in a house with a few other guys from work, and we were kind of sharing the rent to kind of help out. But everybody took off on me at one point. Everybody just up and left. So I got held, you know, I got held holding the bag, and I had to pay, you know, last month's rent and everything. And then of course I had to find my own place. So in order for that amount of money and quick money, I had to sell my collection. And that was tough because that collection was starting to, you know, in my mind resemble something really good, and it took me a while to get that collection. And so that first Wolverine that my uncle gave me, that was one of the books I had to sell, along with my Amazing Spider-Man 129, which was tough. Like I said, those were hard books to get, and it was tough. So, you know, after a while, and I kind of got my financial stability back, I met a girl who would turn out to be my wife, and through her, I met my future brother-in-law, which now I consider my brother. And he was into reading comics and not necessarily collecting, but at least reading, and so it kind of got me back into it. And I kind of got back into the collecting. The bug kind of hit me again to start collecting, and so I got back into it, started collecting again. And my wife is awesome, and she doesn't fully understand why I collect, but she tolerates it. And for my birthday, she knows how much I love collecting, and she went out and actually got me this copy. She got it raw, and I had it graded. So that was awesome that she took the time out and got me that book. But it was still tough, to try to get back into, because when you lose a collection, it takes a while to build a collection, as everybody knows, and it's tough to get some of these books. It's tough what we go through to collect these books, and a lot of people always say, oh, it's a waste of money. Why are you wasting your money on that? And I always say it's not a waste of money if it's something you love to do. And I love comics. Like I said, I love the stories that are told in the comics. It's amazing that some of these creators and writers can come up with these things off the top of their head, and then you have these artists that can actually bring them to life. That storytelling is amazing to me. It's artwork. It's art. And I love everything about it. It's something that I take pride in my collection. It's something that took me a while to get, and I take pride in that. And like I said, I love showing it off. I love talking about comics. I know I've seen a bunch of other videos for this contest, and they're all awesome. I love everybody's unique take on why they collect, and all the stories that they have, growing up from John's Comics with Kids, growing up and playing the cards with his brothers, Tony Sanders getting back into it, by meeting Rob Liefeld with his son waiting in line, which is awesome. You just have all these people that, their stories are amazing. For whatever reason you collect, you could just see the genuine joy that everybody has when they talk about their collection. You take pride in it. I know Alec from White Whale Comics, he said sometimes he likes to just go in his room and he looks at it, and he's joyful that he gets to look at this collection that he's built. And it might not be anything special to anybody else, but for us as collectors, we know what we've gone through to get these books, and for us, we take a sense of pride in that. And I love that, and I love talking to other people about their collections and how they went about getting them, and you get those interactions, and it's awesome, and I love how this community, you can do that. You can share all these these wonderful stories. So that's why I did this video, because I think this was an awesome question, and I would love to see everybody's story as to how they came about, and how they got their collections and why they collect. For whatever reason, I feel that there is no wrong way to collect. However you want to collect is how you collect, and that's the right way for you. Whether it's financial or emotional, or it's nostalgia, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You just love this hobby, and I think that's great. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap this up, and whatever goes. Like I said, I'm not entering this contest. I wasn't entering to try to win. I just wanted to do it because I thought this was a great topic. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it just wasn't rambling nonsense, and you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll see you again. All right, take care, everybody.